And let's just be clear, I want the collards more than I want the peas. You already know how I do. Most people are like, how do you garden with nails? I try to keep gardening light. Doesn't have to be fancy to work. Hello, welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asia and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space out in my backyard. And today we are in the quick tent greenhouse because we're gonna plant peas. I looked at my local feed and seeds chart. This is a perfect time of year for me to start really paying attention to that chart because there are things I have not planted and I'm like, is it too late? Although last year I had planted a lot of stuff out really late, and while some of it did not produce in the fall, it did produce in the spring. But anyway, it's a perfect time for me to start checking it because it is telling me that I can plant peas until, let's see here, until November the 1st. I don't know if y'all can see that. But if you have a local feed and seed near you, see if they have a chart. It's very helpful. It's what's making me not super nervous about my garlic, even though I wasn't nervous anyway. I was just gonna try it and see what happens. And so listen, and now it is telling me that I can still plant my peas, which if you remember, I had said we just weren't gonna have peas in here because I had waited too late to plant them, or at least I thought I had. So we're gonna plant peas today. And another thing I got from my local feed and seed is some Snack Hero peas. Never planted them before, but we are going to see, and we're going to put them on here. It says the vines get 18 to 24 inches long, so they can be grown with support or without support, but I have some support. The other thing we're going to do today is get our lettuce planted in the green stalk trays. I'm super excited to try those. I've never tried them before, but Bibb butterhead lettuce is the only lettuce that I'm planting. It is so delicious, y'all. Like, I really like it. It's a very buttery lettuce, hence Bibb butterhead lettuce. But also, I want to take a minute to thank Quick Tent for sponsoring this video. So this greenhouse that we are standing in, I have had it for at least 3 years. I'm pretty sure it's been about 3 years. It is a 12 by 7 by 7, so pretty long, pretty wide. I have garden beds in mine, and I have 4 really good sized garden beds in this greenhouse, which if you are not new here, you have seen that before. So I can grow a lot in this greenhouse and under cover. And if you also are not new here, you know I don't really cover things. So this is a perfect place for me to try to grow over winter and have my crops protected. And this greenhouse also has 2 doors. So there's a door at the front, there's a door at the back. It comes with mesh that comes down. My dog tore mine up a while ago, but both doors have mesh so you can get good airflow. And then they also have the actual greenhouse door that you can close when you are getting a freeze. Really love that. So I've had both doors open all summer long. When we finally get to like super duper cold, the back one I'll close off and the front one will be closed at night and open in the daytime. Oh, also there's windows on the side too, so you can pull those up. I don't. The quail are on the other side, and then on this side you have the fence. But even without those being pulled up, I still get good airflow in this greenhouse. The other thing that we have in the garden are our newest raised beds, and they are also from Quick Tent. Very affordable. So Quick Tent gifted me the one in the back that has the Brussels sprouts. I purchased this one because I thought, like, it's very affordable, number one. It fits my space perfectly, number two. So these were perfect beds for this space, and they seem like they're gonna last for a while. Like I said, we're gonna follow them throughout the seasons. I will keep you updated on them. So if you're interested in a Quick Tent greenhouse or in the garden beds, you can visit the link down in my description. And I want to thank Quick Tent once again for sponsoring this video. Right now though, we are going to plant the peas. We're gonna do that first. And so peas are not very hard to plant. They also aren't very hard to get to germinate. They're pretty easy to get to germinate. So I have this trellis that I put in here. It is made from an old greenhouse that the plastic kept pretty much going bad on, and I didn't want to replace it anymore. And so with that being said, we made trellises for the greenhouse out of this. And so I'm sure most of you have seen a pea seed. It looks just like the peas that you eat out of the refrigerator. But anyway, that is a pea seed. So I'm gonna plant 3 of them at the bottom of each one of these poles, and hopefully in a few days we will start to see some peas germinate. And the good thing about this variety is they don't really need trellising. So we should be good with the trellis that we have. So we're just pushing them down into the soil, and you want to make sure you keep it moist, of course, because that's how your seeds are going to germinate. Making sure the soil is moist. That's going to hydrate the seeds, and then it's going to tell it, hey, it's time to germinate. The moisture and the humidity, the warmth, and it's still very warm in the greenhouse, so that's a plus. I'm probably putting them down an inch or so in the soil, and so this should work. And we will stay on top of this. We'll see what happens in here, and if we actually get peas this fall, and maybe even through the winter, considering we're planting them in the greenhouse. So it should be a little bit warmer in the greenhouse. And because I am remembering to water like I should in here, we definitely, I do believe, should have some peas. Now, one thing you may hear is you should soak your pea seeds. I'm not against it, but I don't do it. I never have. And I always manage to get peas. And so you can soak them. I think they say for maybe like 24 hours. So soak them for a day, and then like the seeds will become a little bit softer, and you may get germination a little bit quicker, and you may get better germination. I plant 3 seeds and hope for the best, y'all. That's just what I do. All right, let's go plant them back here too. And so we're pretty much going to do the same thing, 3 seeds at each pole. Like I said, dropping them in about an inch deeper. So just make sure your seeds are really well covered. I'm definitely not measuring, you can see that. But seeds should go down, I want to say like an inch to 2 inches bigger than the seed. So we have planted our peas, y'all. I'm pretty excited about that because I wasn't sure that we were gonna actually plant any in here. And if you remember the peas that's out in the garden, they got shaded by the collards. And let's just be clear, I want the collards more than I want the peas. But if I could get peas in here, that would be cool too. Y'all, I just went and put on a long sleeve shirt. A mosquito bit me to the point that I was like, God, dog. It hurt my arm so bad. So I went and put on a long sleeve shirt. I have not been noticing them much over in the garden, but and I don't spend a lot of time in here just because I'm working more out in the garden. But my God, that mosquito got my arm something terrible. Anyway, we are about to plant our lettuce in the green stalk sales. I'm excited to use them. If you remember, I was telling y'all, it has like this handle. So you literally can pick up all of your seedlings at once kind of easily. I like that. I think it's going to be pretty cool to use. And of course, we know I love the color purple. All right. So listen, the greenhouse also is pretty good for when I don't want to be out in the sun and when it's very cold outside and I don't want to be in the cold as well. So yeah, and I still have space in here. So 4 garden beds, nice sized garden beds, and I have a little spot where I could come and sit. And so in the winter, I'm sure I will spend some time in here. Anywho, let's get to planting. And what I'm hoping for is to be able to do like some succession sowing before it gets too cold. And honest truth, I probably could plant like 2 trays today, come back in 2 weeks, plant the other 2 trays. I might do that too. So anyway, let us get started. Also, they have some tips for seed starting. Y'all know I'm just gonna start these seeds. You already know how I do. Anyway, okay, listen. I know y'all about to say, girl, I bought some Fox Farm potting soil. Not because it's the one I always use, not because I think it's any better than anything else, but because I went to Lowe's today and they didn't have any organic potting soil. And I know Home Depot doesn't because I asked my son to pick me up some one day and we went back and forth and I got 25 million pictures and none of them were organic. They had seeds starting, but no organic potting soil. I prefer to start my seeds in potting soil. Most potting soil has feed in it. So it'll feed your seedlings for a little while until you decide to start feeding it or, you know, however it works. So I did buy some Fox Farm. This stuff was $16.99, 17 and something with the tax, y'all. Anyway, this is what I got because it's literally the only thing I could find. And I found that at Pleasance Hardware. I was like, no. And by the time I got to Pleasance Hardware, I was like, I'm not going nowhere else. So I bought it. I'm not gonna lie. But maybe we'll find out that it's like a really, 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 really good soil. Anyway, that's what we're gonna use until we run out of it. And then I really have to find a soil that I could use to start seeds with because I was using the Miracle Grow Organics in the black and yellow bag and I cannot find it. And someone said that they had discontinued it. I was like, you got to be kidding me. It worked really well and I personally did not sift it or anything and I was able to start my seeds in it. But for whatever reason, I guess they did away with it, but I wasn't I'm not a fan of that. So we're gonna fill these. We're also gonna take all the humidity domes off of the bottom. And yeah, we're just gonna do 2 today. Then we'll come back in 2 weeks and do some more. Now, lettuce is cold hardy. However, like, it's not gonna take, I don't think, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, I think maybe 20 degrees, and after that it's gonna start getting burned. But I have quite some time before we get down to 20 degrees, so I'm cool with this. So we're gonna go ahead and just fill these with soil. Soil falls in pretty easily. This soil is not moist, so I'm absolutely gonna have to take them and moisten the soil. But for now, we're just gonna plant. And there are like wood chips and stuff in here, so girl, we'll see. They're not big wood chips, if that makes sense, but there are barky pieces in here, which I'm not saying that's bad, because the Miracle Grow had barky pieces in it too. I'm not gonna lie though, for $17, I thought I was getting ready to get something that was more like seed starting, but it is potting soil, so you need this kind of stuff for like inside plants and things like that. Anyway, let me stop acting like that. Girl, no. I went back in the house to change my shirt. I left the lettuce seeds in the house. So give me a moment. I got them. So, all right, let's see here. I want to make sure I don't hit the camera. So lettuce seeds are pretty small seeds, right? So they don't need to be planted very deep. Like I was saying with the pea seeds, they could go deeper because they're larger seeds. Put my pillow behind me. But lettuce seeds, not so much. I'm gonna show you what lettuce seeds look like. Very small seeds. So with that being said, the way that I plan to sow mine is I'm gonna sow them on the top and drop a little bit of soil back over top of them. Then we're going to mist them easily, gently, so that the seeds don't get pushed down into the soil anymore. And then I'm gonna bottom water these trays. It's a mosquito on the camera, y'all. It is mosquitoes in here. Woo! I have said it a couple of times. I honestly think the change in insect pressure back here is from the wood chips that I put in. Don't regret it. Love having the wood chips, but I think that's where the insect pressure came from. Now, when it comes to these seeds and this sowing for me, I am going to try to get no more than 2 seeds into one cell, because I don't want to up pot these. I want them to be able to grow in this one tray, and then when it's time for me to plant out, I don't mind separating them at planting time, but I don't want to up pot them. I just don't. That's it. That's all. I'm hoping to be able to get these out into the garden within the next 2 to 3 weeks. If they're big enough, I'm going to put them out there, and I'll take y'all with me. So I'm going to move this a little bit closer to y'all, so y'all can see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna use my nails, which most people are like, how do you garden with nails? They come in handy. That's 2 seeds. I'm gonna plant 1 over here. And if I was trying to be super safe, I would plant 4. Safe just means I'm gonna get a whole bunch of seedlings that I am not gonna want to throw away, and I'm gonna be up potting, and I don't want to up pot. So this is what we're going to do. 2 seeds each tray. This is maybe a little more tedious, but I'm okay with that. And I'm only planting 2 trays today anyway, so not a big deal. So just like that, we have planted all of these. Nope, we didn't plant that one. Let's plant this one. And these lettuce seeds, I believe, are from last year, so I probably should plant 2. If I see that these first 2 trays have an issue with germination, I'll do 4, so 2 and 2. But right now, we're going to do these 2 and hope for the best. And so now, I'm just going to drop a little soil back over top of the seeds, because they don't need a deep covering. But I am making sure it gets onto the seeds. Just like that, just a little bit. Then I am going to push it down just to make sure it's contact between the soil and the seed. And then we are going to go and moisten it so that the seeds can germinate. We'll see what happens, y'all. All right, let's fill this one up and go ahead and plant that too. You know, the other thing I'm gonna do while I'm out here is I have a whole bunch of cardboard boxes. I'm gonna go ahead and lay some new cardboard boxes in the walkway of this greenhouse too, so that we don't have, you know, like grass and stuff growing in here, because I didn't put anything at the bottom of this greenhouse to kind of like keep things from growing, except for cardboard. But cardboard breaks down, but cardboard is also free for the most part unless you just choose to go and buy it. So basically, when I start to see that happening, I just put more cardboard down, hose it off until like the next season, and then I'll just go ahead and redo it, because again, I always got cardboard. So we're gonna do that once we get these 2 trays planted. This is one thing that I have struggled with doing, just not planting everything out at once. Like, it's just, when I say that, when I'm starting seeds for summer, I don't have a problem with it, you know, because you want to start just a whole bunch so you can plan out your spring and summer garden. But when I'm planting for like later in the season, when I don't want a whole bunch of the same thing at once, I really struggle with not just going ahead and planting out every tray I have, right? So like, I'm trying this year. I still have 4 open. And to me, they should all be filled with seeds. But we're not going to do that this year. We're going to try another way. And then that way, I won't have... That's also kind of why we had so much lettuce that went to the chickens or to the worm bins, because I planted so much at one time. So trying something new, y'all. And not something I never heard of, just something I never tried before, or never tried well. I feel like I thought about it, I tried to do it, and then I still ended up planting out all my seeds at one time. And we don't want to do that this year. We do not. All right, so those are the 2. In 2 weeks, I'll come back, plant some more. Hopefully we'll eat these 12. And not, when I say hopefully, we will, because my son, he absolutely loved this lettuce out of the garden in the spring. I don't know that I planted it over the winter last year, but I'm pretty sure it'll last. If it doesn't, we got other lettuce options in the house that may be a little more cold hardy. I don't know how cold hardy these are. So there's that. I try to keep gardening light. If you are not new here, you know that. I definitely try to keep it light. And I like being out in the garden, and I like doing things in the garden anyway. So if I gotta restart more lettuce seeds, that's fine by me. I'm not tripping. It's like, it's just not a big thing to me. So let's go and moisten these. And then I'm gonna go get the cardboard, and we're gonna put that cardboard down in here too. I'm going to put this on the mist setting and keep it kind of high up and mist the top. And then I'll come back and water from the bottom. Right now, just gonna mist it. You should most definitely moisten your soil before you do this. I do it sometimes I don't. But the right way to do it is to moisten the soil first, so your seeds don't get moved around. Again, I keep it light here. I didn't feel like getting out of the corner to moisten that soil after I was already over there. And so with that being said, this is how I'm going to moisten my soil. But you can always put it in a bowl, put it somewhere, moisten it, and then put it into the cells, and then plant your seeds. But while I wait for that to soak in a little bit, I'm just going to put the humidity domes on here. And I'm actually going to just leave these in here. And then when I come to water the greenhouse more often, like I said I was doing, I'll also water these. And then the next time it's time to plant, everything will already be in the greenhouse. Now, once those seeds germinate though, I will bring them out and put them somewhere where they can get some sun. But right now they really don't need sun. They just need to have moisture, and they need to have humidity. And I think this is a perfect place for them to be. And the last thing we're gonna do is hopefully easily just slide these boxes down in here, because I do not feel like actually cutting them. Let's see if I can just get it down here and step on it. Very strong boxes, y'all. Hey, it worked. That's all I want, is for it to be down here. It doesn't have to be level. I just want it down here. So now it'll save me from having grass and stuff grow up in here. That's all I want. Does not have to be perfect. Just try to slide it in here like this, and then I should be able to step on it. Yep, nice. We love that for me. I know somebody like, girl, it'll break down, y'all. But now I have a nice walkway I can walk on. Nice. I got some more boxes. I need to put them in the back end too. So let me go grab those. I dropped another one right here. It'll get wet, but now I have a nice way into the greenhouse, and we're reusing boxes. This one I'm gonna put back there. All right. Just gonna open it up, lay it back here. Oh, there's ants all under there. That sucks. The ants, I do think, are drawn to the cardboard too. However, they aren't in the garden beds. They're on the ground. And I'm not gonna worry about it right now. Probably in spring I'm gonna have to worry about it, but not right now. Y'all, I talked all to this camera when I finished this video. I'm inside editing and I realized I did not press play. So I'm gonna end this, but I'm gonna show y'all the little walkway. What we did with the boxes is nothing fancy, but just to show you, it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be fancy to work. This first one comes out a little more than it should. It's gonna get wet, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. But the rest of it is all the way to the back. We got a little space right there. I fill it in. And yes, the boxes are up on the side. It's fine. It's fine. But anyway, I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram where I post about the things going on in my garden almost every day. Bye, y'all. Also, I know the videos are getting shorter. I don't have a lot to do in this cold, but when I can make longer ones, I will. When I can't, I'm sorry.